My name is Joanne Cornell and I'm here to do a video on a bucket system for worm farms. I want to do red wigglers and grow them. Mainly because I want the castings for my garden because I do the cannabis and I want to be able to have all organic food. I'm sorry if I have that light on that refrigerator right now. It's kind of killing me. But I want to do a special thank you to a gentleman called his name's Anthony, and he's at Let It Grow in Johnston, 239 Putnam Pike, Johnston, Rhode Island. The phone number is 401-572-4769 if you need any information on any of this other than what the heck I'm giving you. We're also going to be doing a video, so I'm going to be going to his store, and one of the ladies that works there is going to be doing a video for me with me. I'm going to be taping it so we can record a video for you, and it's going to be about the system that they have in there, which they have a lot of red wigglers there. They grow them. They've been growing them for a while now, so he's pretty knowledgeable about it. And he does the casting teas and castings all in-house there, and then he also sells the worms. Things you're gonna need. So on a video, I saw that you needed silicone. I really don't think you're gonna need silicone. You can if you want to use it, and I'll tell you why. You can use it, and I'm thinking I'm just not gonna do it. So silicone would be one of them. Water-based, it said silicone, but I'm skipping that. I got some other idea, and I think it'll work out. And if it doesn't, then I'll figure out something. Then maybe I will use the silicone for it. You're gonna need nippers, something that's gonna cut wire. It needs to cut mesh. This is 1/2-inch mesh, and then I also have an 1/8-inch mesh. Oh no, wait, this is 1/4-inch mesh, and I also have 1/8-inch mesh. The 1/8-inch mesh, you don't really have to worry about screen. You don't have to worry about, that's regular screen for a screen door. If you can get recycled screen, do it. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to. Same thing with this, as long as it's, decently clean and good condition, not rusty and stuff. So the snips are so that you can cut this. And then when I did cut these, I did cut a bunch of these already. I'm trying to save a little bit of time so you don't have to watch me do all the action stuff. So what I did is I cut these into the strips so that they fit inside the bottom of these buckets. So they fit inside the bottom of the bucket like that. So that's how big you need it. What I did is I just took the lid, measured it, and then cut the screens in order to get what I needed. So those, and then I have one for the bottom bucket is going to be different from 1, 2, 3. Then the second bucket is going to be different, and then all the rest of the top buckets are going to be the same. So 1, 2, 3. I got 3 different type of buckets. So let me show you first when I'm talking. Let me just tell you everything else you need first, and then I'll go into that. So this kind of screen, this kind of screen, and I cut these up so that they fit in the bottom of the buckets. And what I did is, because I'm doing a 2, 3, 4. I did 4 of the 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. No, 4 of these. I did 4 of these, and then I did one that is the mesh, which I can't even show you right now because it's on the bottom of the bucket. And then I needed the mesh to put on here in order to be able to make it so there's no flies. Like I said, I'll explain all this anyways. But so then I took. I needed the buckets. So base, definitely what you're going to need is a base bucket. Then you're going gonna need what I'm calling a number 1 bucket, which is the castings bucket. So that's the castings bucket. And then you're going to need the feeding bucket, which is the top one. And then, so you definitely need at least 3, but you should go more than 3. So he suggested 5, but I'm gonna go and do 6. Why not? I have the 6 buckets. So I definitely need 1 lid. I am going to do another one for the other worms, but I'm going to do it a different type right now until I get more buckets. When I get more buckets, then I'll transfer it into bucket system. But I did do the cover just so I can have it, so there's no sense in doing, I already had it all done. Just drill in my hands, I just drilled another cover. So, and then eggshells. And they're all ground up. So what I did is I took it in and put it in a blender and just mixed the damn things up and ground it up fine. So it's a powder. The worms need grit in order to break down the material that they are going to be using to eat. So that's why they need that. And like I said, in the other video, it's probably going to be more explained better as far as what they do, how it all works and everything else, but I'm going to give you the basics. Then you're going to need drills. So I got 1-inch drill bit, and I did it the whole kind. So it's got the little point here. I can't remember the name of it. It's got the point here, and then it does the big good size hole. So I used that for the big holes, and then for the small holes, so that's 1 inch. And then this one is about, I think it's 1/4 of an inch. So I did 1/4 inch, and I didn't like that size, so then I did it 1/2 inch, which I think I probably could have just stuck to the 1/4 inch, I was told, because the red wigglers are kind of small, so it doesn't matter. So I used those drill bits, a drill. If you're going to use the silicone, and you're going to need the silicone, and you're going to need a caulking, the silicone that you do use is gonna make sure that it's water-based, and then what I did is made sure that it's the sealant kind, so that way it'll definitely stick. If you're gonna use the sealant also, make sure that you sand down the area that you're going to be on the bottom before you drill the holes, because that that way you can end up putting a silicone on and they'll stick to the plastic. Make sure the buckets are food grade, so you don't want any kind of chemicals in it or anything like that. And even when washing, make sure you wash it with light, very, very light dish detergent. And if you can, no detergent, just kind of wash it out. What I did is I did a little bit of dish detergent, but not very much at all. And then I just rinsed and rinsed and rinsed it out, so they're definitely clean. So then I took the buckets, and the base bucket, I ended up putting a spout on it. So this is the one that's going to be on the bottom. So it has no holes in it other than this base right here where the spout is. So now if any fluids leak down, I can drain the fluids and get rid of it out of there. And so that's good. So then my second bucket, my second bucket, which I already have the stuff in this one, so I'm going to show you this one, which is going to be the same thing anyways, is smaller holes in it. So I put smaller holes in this one, and then I put the screen that was the smaller screen. So I didn't put the 1/4 inch screen. What I did is put the 1/8 inch screen on that, and I made sure that I blocked the holes with it. And here's where the silicone would come in. They said put silicone down there and then just put the screen on there and glue it down there. What I did is, because there's going to be dirt and everything on there anyways, so it's going to be held down, and the worms can go in and out anyways because they're going to go through the damn screens, so it's not going to make a difference. The reason that I'm doing a smaller screen on this one is because I want to keep the castings in here. I don't want them to really go down into this bucket at all. If they do, it's fine, and it's not going to kill it. kill, I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything, but I kind of want the castings to stay in here. So that's the second bucket. Then I have holes all in one here. So this bucket has the big holes, which are 1 inch. And then what I did is I put micro tape on it. They said you can put, I'm watching the videos and they say you can put this screens. That's why I cut a whole bunch of the screen to put up on here and everything else. But I was told from Anthony that if they want to get out of here, they're going to get out of here. So I put micro tape on there, which is still going to leave ventilation. And that comes from like a CVS or any kind of drugstore. You can buy micro tape. So that's what I did for that. So that's my second bucket. And it's going to have the screen. And it's going to go right into, so this is number 1. That's number 2. Okay? Now number 3, 4, and 5 are all going to be the same thing because these are the top buckets. So 3, 4, and 5 are going to be drilled all out the same. So what I did is drilled out the holes on the bottom, and then I drilled out the holes on the side. Side is for ventilation, and then the bottom is so that worms can go in and out from, because they're gonna crawl from the bottom floor, which is my casting area, and they're gonna crawl up, and they're gonna come in here, and then they're gonna lay their eggs up in here, and they're gonna go to the next bucket, and they're gonna eat, and they're gonna come back down, and they're gonna poop on the bottom bucket. So the bottom bucket is the one where the casting, not the bottom bucket, but number 1 bucket is where they're going to have the castings, and then they're going to come up again, and they're going to eat, and then they're going to come back down, and they're going to go. So they're going to keep traveling back and forth through the floors. So the holes are all the same. Like I said, bucket 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then if you do 6, 6, they're all going to be the same. So the top buckets are all going to be the same. And then what I did, like I said, is the same thing. Holes on the side, put ventilation, and then also holes on the bottom. Now the holes on the bottom are going to have the big screen in there, so that's why the big screen's already in there. And they say to silicone it, but like I said, I'm not going to bother doing that. I don't think I need to do that. It's going to be better to be able to clean it, because I'm going to be able to take the castings out, the Coco Coir out, everything out of there, and then I'm going to be able to take the screen out of there, wash it all, and then put it all back together. When I kind of like the idea of it not being attached. So, and with the Coco Coir on top of it, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's how I'm working that. For the microbe tape, what I did is because you can get the thicker kind in order to do, so you should probably get 1 inch, but I had this on hand already. So what I did is I just took it and went 1 over here, and there's a little slot right here that's not covered. So I made sure I put another piece of tape on there, and of course, because I'm watching you instead of video, I didn't do it, so I put another tape on it. Just make sure that the hole is covered. Air will get through this, because if I go, there's air and there's ventilation, so it's not like it's not going through. So if I have any problem with ventilation later, I will put the other screen on there. I'm just trying to save a little bit of time, and I want to get this done because I want my red wigglers to go in the Coco Coir as soon as possible. So that's my other thing you're going to need. You're going to need maybe a little bit of newspapers, well, not newspaper, but paper, recycled paper, cardboard, and Coco Coir. I was told that I don't really need to have the paper in there. He says just do it with the Coco Coir, but on the videos and stuff of what I've seen and everything else, the paper is used to make sure that the Coco Coir isn't too damp. And because my Coco Coir had gotten a little wet outside in the greenhouse, it's a little bit damper than I think it should be. So what I did is I made sure that I did put a little bit of paper in there. It's not going to hurt it, but he told me that it was the best thing is to not put that in there and feed them fruits and good compost, because good compost. What goes in comes out, you know what I mean? So their poop isn't going to be paper, it's going to be actually food product, so it's more healthier for the worms itself. So then what I did is I did the covers. So the covers, I need ventilation on the covers. So I poked some holes in there, I drilled the holes in there also, and then I took and put the screen on there because I want to try to keep the bugs out. But I want to make sure that the ventilation, and then I also want to make sure that the worms don't go out, because the worms will go up the side of the thing, which I didn't know, but they go upside the bucket and they'll just follow their way trying to find the food. And if there's no food in there, they're going to try to get the heck out, and then if they get lost, of course, well, they're going to go out. So I don't want that. So there. So keep bugs out, keep worms in. So what I did is now I am going to do the base. Oh, when I didn't tell you also is that when you are cutting this mesh, make sure, because there's all sorts of sharp edges over here on the side. What I did is I made sure that I went with the snips and I went really close, because as you can see all those little pieces, when you cut it, you're not getting it all the way close to the top rail of the fence type thing, you know what I mean? Like, so what I did is I ended up going closer and getting it closer, because I really don't want the worms to get hurt either. Not that they'll probably venture that way, but God knows, you know. I kind of want to keep as many worms alive as possible. My job is to keep the worms alive. So, good thing I did all this drilling and everything else way before. Well, actually it took me 2 weeks to do the drilling, because I had to go and drill holes, and then I had to stop because of the fibromyalgia, trigeminal, and the tennis elbow that I have right now. I can't do it. I just physically can't do it. So I had to drill like maybe 5 or 6 holes in the morning and 5 or 6 holes at night. And anytime that I felt a little bit okay, I went and did 5 or 6 more holes until I got all these holes done. So it took me a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, to get these holes in the buckets. So this is number 1, or this is the basement, I should say. So that's the basement. And then this is the casting area. So now what I did with the casting area is I had that thin mesh, the 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch mesh screen. So it's a regular screen door screen. And I put it on the bottom over the holes. So holes, and the screen goes to cover it. And then I put Coco Coir. So what I did is I put about, I would say about 3 inches of Coco Coir in there. Yeah. And then what I did is I put a little bit of new recycled paper, because recycled paper is good for them, in order to keep the moisture down and level. And then what I need to do is put some grit in there. So I am going to take and put some grit in there. And then what you need to do is do the same thing on all the levels except for the one with the spout. So I'm doing this in the house because it's cooler in the house. Outside it's way too warm. And I just didn't want to have to move you out there. So each one of these levels now is going to be the same thing as this one. So now this one goes on top of here, and it goes down. And then the next one is going to have Coco Coir. And then I'll probably put a little bit of paper in there, and I'll probably put a little, and I'll put some grit in there. And then that'll go on top again. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other 2 buckets. Remember, the mesh mesh is in there. So the mesh is in there. So the worms are going to be able to travel from one level to the other. And then Coco Coir and a little bit of the paper. If you don't want to do the paper, you don't have to do the paper. Not a problem. He told me it's fine. And then the top level is gonna have the same thing. It's gonna have the big mesh. I'm gonna put it down. Oh, I think I need this. I think I should shoot. Do I want to do that? No. Yeah. Okay. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. I just want to grab some Coco Coir in here. Okay, and my Coco Coir is still pretty damp. So what I'm going to do is put some newspapers in there. Remember, this is the top level now. So it's all the same, except this top level is going to be a little bit different now. So I put some newspaper in there. Yep, I'm making a mess. And now I'm going to get the red wigglers. They're going to have a little bit of bugs on them because I had them outside when I had to go into my physical therapy. And I didn't want them to, I don't know, I just didn't want them in the house, getting the bugs in the house, but I did take them, and I should have probably left it inside, maybe, I don't know. So, what I'm told is that if I take this and put this in a blender and then put it in there, it's going to be better. But this is an older one, so I'm just going to throw it in there. They'll eat it. And then I have some watermelon rinds. Same thing, take these watermelon rinds and you can cut them up, or you can just put them in whole. So I'm going to put the watermelon rinds in there. And now I get to show you my worms. Well, let me just grab a plate because I got a dishwasher, so I am going to do that so I can show you what they look like. And then these are the red wigglers. So this is a little bitty baby. And they're not much bigger than that, but here they are. Let me see if I can show you even closer. It's a good little clump right there of red wigglers. Okay, so now this is in the natural Coco Coir that he has already. And then I am just going to drop it on the top. So I'm going to drop all of this in there on the top. And I'm going to make sure I get every goddamn little worm in there. Spread them out a little bit. Put this in the sink so I can put it in the dishwasher. Wash my hands with. And then what I'm going to do is put a little bit more Coco Coir on top. I'll clean this better later, but for now, oh, and then I didn't put grit in this one because I was talking to you guys, so what I'm going to do is put some grit on it. So now it's got the grit. It has the worms in it. And you can see them wiggling in there. And then I'm going to put some, like I said, I'm going to put some more Coco Coir on there only because I want to keep the, I'm stepping on Coco Coir, which is on the floor. I want to keep them happy. I still need to put some Coco Coir in the other levels. I don't know if you can see the bottom. Yep, you can see the bottom. The bottom is like that. So it's got the mesh there, and it's going to protect it. And then it's, all the worms are going to be able to go in and out, in and out. And that's going to go on top. And then the cover is going to go on top of that. And there it is. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in my basement. As soon as I fill the other levels, I'm going to put it in my basement. And then when I put it in there, then I should be able to get some darn castings in the bottom shelf in probably like another month or so. I'll have castings down there, and I will give you an update. But for now, I am going to say goodbye, and I am going to finish doing the rest of the buckets, and then I got to do some cleanup. So that is my worm home for the red wigglers. I am also going to do one for the earthworms. I haven't done that yet. As soon as I get that prepared enough, that's going to be 2 totes for now. I got a deep tote, and well, it's about this deep. And then I got one that's probably about, I don't know, one that's about 4 inches and one that's about 6 inches, 7 inches, something like that. So I'm going to put one inside the other, put the holes in the bottom, and then I'm going to put the bottom, like the Coco Coir on the bottom, same as this, and then Coco Coir on the top, and I'm going to put the compost on the top. And now anytime I have anything that's left over, that is edible by the worms, do not put grease in there, don't put oil in there, don't put anything fatty in there. Don't put hard stems, anything that they can't break down. But anything that has a lot of water content to it, you can put in there. You can put coconuts in there. You can put, he had watermelon. He had all kinds of fruit. Try not to put the seeds in. So if you get pumpkins, he says they love pumpkins. But you have to take the seeds out because the seeds, they won't be able to digest the seeds. Trying to think of what else he said don't put in there. I'm told on the videos that you can put bread in there, but make sure that you dampen the bread before you put it in there so it will break down. And also you don't want it so that it's hard, because they won't be able to eat anything if it's hard, and they won't be able to eat anything if it's dry. If it's dry, they're not going to touch it. So it has to be, have some fluid in it, liquid in it. You can also do any of the trim, he said, from like cannabis plants, tomato plants, any of that. If you're taking any of the leaves off and stuff like that, you can do that also. Just don't do the stems. Anything that's, big and hard, because they, like I said, they don't have any teeth, so they're not going to break it down. So I really hope you like this video. So share, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel when I do get it going. And this is Joanne from A Rose's Creations, and like I said, I definitely want to give a big thank you to Anthony from Let It Grow in Johnston, 239 Putnam Pike, Johnston, Rhode Island, 401-572-4769 for helping me out on this. And then, like I said, Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm thinking Tuesday, we're going to do the video, and so you'll get more information. If you have any questions about this, worm castings or the actual farm type thing, what you can feed it, what you can't feed them, temperatures, they don't like it too cold, they like it a little warm but not too hot either. I will get the temperatures and be able to tell you that. What else? Because they set it online in Celsius, so it's not going to help us in United States. Yeah, because most of us still use Fahrenheit. But I will get the Celsius and the Fahrenheit temperature. Moisture is good, but too much moisture is bad, so it needs to stay at a certain level. The micro tape, I'm not quite sure if it's going to be staying there, because I'm going to investigate quick and make sure that there's enough air going through, the airflow going through there. If there isn't, then I'm going to end up changing it to something else, because I definitely want to make sure that I do have enough airflow in here. The spout I got from Amazon, and I will post and I will tell you how much. I got a whole box of them, so they come out to be, I don't know, my cost. If you live anywhere around here or something like that, contact me at 401-932-5965, because I really don't need this many of them. But 24 pieces, so there's 24 spouts. I'm going to use like maybe 4 or 5 at the most, maybe more, but if you need them, like $3-4 or something like that. Just so they come in pieces like this. And it has a, of course, what I'm trying to look for is on the bottom, of course. That's how that works. I need the third piece. Oh, here it is. So what you do is you drill a hole, 1 inch hole, 1 inch hole. You drill it, then you take this and put it in there. It's a grommet, so you just take it, put it in there, and then you take this and put this through the hole in the bucket, and then you just take and tighten this, because this is going to be in the bucket already. And you're going to push that through, and then you're going to take this, and it's a nut, and you're just going to feed it on the inside till it gets tight. And once it's tight on the bucket, that means your seal's done. So now you're going to have your spout in order to be able to pour. So that's how that works. I think I'm done. So blessed be. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, share with friends. Thank you. Bye-bye.